Thank you. Jed?
I'm good. You're good. So my name's Jed, guys. So unlike the other two, my journey's not very linear. My journey's kind of like all over the place. So I didn't go to university or college for my cybersecurity stuff. I always knew I wanted to get into cybersecurity because just like you guys might not might you guys are definitely too young to remember Kim Possible, the cartoon, and she had her friend Wade who was always in the chair. He knew everything and had all the latest tech. That's sort of how I envisioned how I wanted to be in tech and sort of understand things on a much deeper level. So when I first went to school, I went to school for business marketing. Halfway through my program, I was like, I did not like business at all. I don't want to do this program anymore. I'm over it. But my mom wanted the diploma, so I'm like, I might as well get her the diploma because that's who I'm doing it for, not for myself. So after that, for me to get sort of like my knowledge and understanding of cybersecurity, I actually watched a lot of YouTube videos. When I mean I would probably watch YouTube, I'd say 8 hours a day for like maybe 3 months straight, just YouTube, just learning. And just using YouTube alone, I was able to get like the understanding and the fundamentals. I was able to get certifications outside of school, which sort of gave me the same understanding as someone that would do 3 to 4 years in university or college. So after I did that, I did an internship. After I did an internship, I did another internship. After I did that internship, I moved all the way out in Kitchener because that was the only place that was hiring at the time within my field. So I moved an hour and 15 minutes away from my friends, my family, and just said, you know what? If I want to make the money, if I want to make it in this career, I have to make certain sacrifices. And that's what I did. So now it's been about 2.5 years since I started working at my company, and I've leveled up maybe 3 or 4 times. And like I was telling you guys at the table, it just depends on how hungry you are and how locked in you are to get into what you want to get, right? So when I say that stuff to you guys, I might be joking around, but there's never a straight path. You guys could do anything you want, any way you want to do it, because there's always more than one way to get things done. So I would say in the entire cybersecurity community or sector, there's only 10% of that is black people, right? So even though in my company there's a lot of black people that work within my company, but within that, I come from a Caribbean background, right? So most of the people that I work with are coming from my African background. So even though we all sort of look the same, the cultural differences are still there. So even though some of these people, they'll look like me, we are still sort of different. So I wasn't being accepted in that type of way. And especially being from Toronto, the culture in Toronto is different from out there, right? So I would say that it was kind of difficult for me to break into that space, but what I'd always remind myself is that I belong here, right? I did the hard work, I did the journey, so no one could tell me I don't belong in this space. So without being arrogant or without being too cocky, I would say, you still have to understand that wherever you are in life, you deserve to be there, regardless of your cultural background or your racial background. And even though you are like the only black person within that, just know that you are actually starting the field and starting the groundwork that other people like yourselves are going to be able to say, you know what, I see someone like me doing this, why can't I do it, right? So you always got to lead with that as well. I definitely knew I was not going to go into business marketing because I didn't care for the diploma. While I was in doing my program for business marketing, I actually worked at the bank as a financial advisor. I'd have to wear suits all the time, and I would have to try sell products to customers. That's not what I wanted to do. So I would go into work, even though at the time I was getting paid well. I hated my job, so I was like, this is not going to be for me very long. So once I got into the cybersecurity space, and I actually started doing the work and actually applying my skills to like tests and all that stuff, I knew that this is something that I wanted to do because I would do all these modules, all these exams, and I enjoy it. And I'm not someone that enjoys school at all, and I'll be completely honest with you. I did not think that I would want to go do any extra work for fun or to do it because I enjoy it. So once I knew I enjoyed doing the cybersecurity work and I didn't really care about how much it was paying, I knew that this is something that I wanted to do for myself. In my role, pretty much, I work on 10-week rotations. So this week, I'm actually on my night rotation. So I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night from 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm off from Thursday this week until next week Thursday. So you get like a week off, and after when I go back to work though, I'm working Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night until Monday morning. And then I get a couple days off. So you're never working well, it depends on your role, but for my role, I would work night rotation. Then after that, I'll go into a 7:30 in the morning to 3:30 in the morning for about 4 weeks. Then it jumps to 10 to 7, then it jumps to 12 to 8. So my weeks are never the same. It's always fluctuating, and it depends on your role in the day, so you're always doing something different. One week I might be on tickets. So tickets are pretty much when customers respond to an alert that we send out and they say, for example, Brandon is a Canadian worker, right? But for some reason, we see Brandon logging into his computer from Mexico. So he should not be in Mexico during this work time. So we would get that notification. I'll then message his manager and be like, hey, he's logging in from Mexico. Do you know he's supposed to be there? And his manager will either say yes, ignore the alert, or no, this is not him logging in. Could you do an investigation? When we investigate, we then have to go see what we call logs. So the logs are pretty much like your footprint. So I could see everything you've done on a computer. No matter what you do, how you do it, if you try to hide it, it's seen. Everything has a footprint. So no matter what you do on a computer, we could find it if we really look, and we know where to look, right? So I'll do investigations. If I'm not doing investigations, I'll do the alerting. So if someone's making changes to an account, if account's logging in when they shouldn't be logging in, if someone tries to use a certain type of command line code, so all these different things you would be getting alerted on. So I'm pretty much the person that sends those alerts to you. And so there is a face on the other side of those alerts that actually come to your computer. Every day it's probably going to be a different alert or a different investigation that you're going to have to use like different skills to like get to the answer. So I would say problem solving is one of the main skills you should have. Because I would say when it comes to like tech skills, where it's like coding, AI, and all that stuff, you could learn that on the job, and they're gonna teach you how to use your tools there, right? So most of the tools are very similar. So if you're learning something on one tool, it's gonna be transferable on the other tool. So I would say problem solving and attention to detail are the two main and important skills you should have, to be honest, because tech-wise, you can learn that. You guys love YouTube, so I know you guys always watch YouTube shorts and always on YouTube. So literally, you could go on YouTube and just search up cybersecurity fundamentals or basics, just so you could get an idea of what it's like. So that way, honestly, and it'll be much more entertaining and I'd say it'll be much more entertaining if you do it on YouTube, because they'll actually add like animations for each of the topics that they're discussing. So not only would you get a lot of information, but they'll actually apply the visual, so that way you could actually understand. So if I'm not a read-in, write-in type of learner, I'm a visual learner and someone that asks a lot of questions. So if that's how you learn and you are someone that needs to see something in order to understand it, I would say YouTube is the best bet. It's free, and you learn pretty much everything that you would learn from a paid certificate, right? So, for example, I have one of my certificates cost for the study material and to take the exam was about $830 US, right? Everything that was on that exam, I pretty much learned on YouTube before. So it was sort of like a refresher. So you're pretty much learning the same type of material, the same type of concept on YouTube. It's just that you're not paying a lot of money out of it. So just because you're not paying a lot does not mean that it's not the same type of content that you're getting. Money and value does not equate to what you're learning educationally, and as well as like mentally and different aspects of it as well.